Hello, everybody. Welcome to live stream training. Please let me know if you're here, if you can hear me. I always like to make sure that technology is being my friend. So just let me know. Do a heart, do a like, do a hello. Oh, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Yeah, just let me know. Let me know you can hear me. Let's see. Oops. All righty. Oh, Michelle, you can hear me. Awesome. Lynn, you can hear me. Great. Everybody's who's here, will you just say hello? Will you also let me know we're talking today about charging what you're worth? And will you share, in the Facebook post, will you share what it means to you? And also, just to let everybody know, any questions you have, please post them. And I've got like 2 pages of notes for this training. This is not like, let me just sit here and do a Facebook Live thing for you. I've got some really cool stuff to share. So if you do have questions, please please post them there on the Facebook thread, and I will circle back around and answer them for you. Thank you, Kim. You can hear me. Excellent. And like I said, so any questions, but let me know, what is charging what you're worth? What does that mean to you? And I've got my girl here. Let me show you my girl. So if you see some ears, and I'm in my shorts here, I confess it's like hot here. I don't know how hot it is, but it's hot. So if you see some ears bouncing around, it's my girl. So anyways, what does charging what you're worth mean to you? Because they talk about it a lot. And in the entrepreneurial world, we hear it a lot. And so I'd love to know what you think it is. And because like I said, I've got 2 pages of really, really cool stuff to share with you guys today. I've been working on this for a while. So if you're just getting to know me, let me just introduce myself to you. I am Kate Beaters. I am the breakthrough expert, founder of Brilliance Builders, and I have this really, really cool and unique expertise where I've got a powerful background in business development, all the marketing strategies, how you build a strong foundational business, and then I'm also an expert in mindset, which is tapping, laws of attraction. Now I'm pulling in neuroscience, all those cool things. And I find that when I pull them together and when I work with my clients, as well as my own self, the results are just really, really tremendous. I believe you need them both. One side or the other, I think you're kind of lopsided. So today we're talking about charging what you're worth. And thank you guys for all the hearts and likes and stuff. It makes me feel good. I speak on a lot of stages across North America. And when I get to see your faces in person, or when I'm doing a live event, and I know you guys are like nodding your head, or you're looking at me, or if I see the glazed over eyes too, then I know the other side. But when I see when I get the hearts and likes and comments, then I know, like, yeah, this is impacting you. And that's why I'm doing it. Whenever I teach, I always have 4 intentions. The first is to teach you the content you're here for. And like I said, I've got 2 pages of notes that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today on our training. I also want to bring you into a larger like-minded community of people who want to learn what they, with other people who just have the same needs for this knowledge. And thank you. Yes, Michelle. Yeah, earning what you believe you deserve. Absolutely. And the third is to open up the doors of possibilities. So back to what Michelle just posted, is that understanding what do you deserve and earning that, not just so it's a dream out there, but that it actually becomes a reality, and maybe even more than that. And the last piece is for those of you who want to dive in deeper, to an extended invitation to come to my live event this June, where I dive in even deeper in Conversations to Clients Live. So again, if you're just joining, please say hi. Please do lots of hearts and likes when I say things that resonate. Post your questions. On my laptop, it's on this side, but might be on your side. And then I'll come back, circle back around and answer any questions before I end the Facebook Live. Whoops. Oh, and I think Callie has had enough, so put her back down. So charging what you're worth. It's something that we talk about a lot in this world, in the entrepreneurial world. And let's see, Kim just wrote, means to me that she could make the dollars that match the value of her expertise. And building expertise costs time and money, and making that value apparent to clients. Absolutely. Absolutely. It sure does, right? And having them understand all that. What I have found, what it means with my clients, this is just a couple of examples just off the top of my head, is things like As a result of them being able to charge what they're worth, they attract a better quality clients. Not those needy clients who are calling you constantly or contacting you constantly or want more than they paid for. It allows you more, it's allowed them more time off. Looking at my notes here. They also hit and typically exceed their income goal when they charge what they worth. They enjoy it. They're happier, right? When they're doing it, they become better at planning and become more strategic. They're better at taking action, knowing what type of action to take. As a result, of course, they make more money, and that increases the quality of their life. And that's really important. So charging what you're worth on the outside sounds like just making some more money, but there's really so many other things that go along with it and how you show up in this world. And to me, that's what it's really all about, not just saying, okay, now before I was charging 25 and now I'm charging 50. It's all the other things that go around it, you understanding your value and being able to extend that in your whole entire life. My story with me, for those of you who haven't heard it, when I first started my business, I was really, really bad at it. I came from this business world where I was making a pile of money, literally a pile of money. I would think nothing about going shopping and on a Saturday in a store, nothing special I needed, but I would think nothing about dropping $3,000 in a day, right? I mean, I just shopped, I liked it, it was pretty, bought it, boom, done. And I did sales, I did business development, I knew how to do it. As an entrepreneur, totally different world. It's one thing to sell someone else's widget. I found it very, very different to sell myself. I took everything very, very personally. And as a result, my income was really, really low. And I ended up doing things like giving it away. I did trades, I did discounts because I didn't want to deal with rejection. Because the first time anyone ever said to me, like, that's a lot of money, I took it personally, like they were stabbing me in the heart. And I just made the snap decision, like, nobody's ever going to do that to me again. I'm just going to give it away or do discounts or do trades or something. And that way I could avoid it. At least that's what I thought. And does that resonate with any of you? Can I see some hearts or likes if you've done trades, discounts, give it away, stuff like that, just to avoid charging what you're worth? And, the thing is that either like some of you or maybe unlike some of you, I'm solely responsible for my income. I don't have a sugar daddy. I don't have anyone else paying my bills. So if I don't make the money, I don't eat. My really cute girl, who if you were on the beginning, you saw her, she doesn't eat. So it's important. And not only to pay the bills, but really how I show up. Because what happened is, as I was giving away more and more of my services or doing it for a very discounted rate, I'd see these people getting these really great results. They'd email me like, hey, Kate, because of you, I made $5,000 this month, or because of you, I got 3 new clients, or because of you, I did this, or because of this, I did that. And they're saying all these things. And honestly, I started getting really, really angry because it's like they're getting all these great results and I wasn't getting paid for it. And I got angry, I got resentful. And instead of staying in that pity party for too long, I said, I got to get help. I hired a coach and got the support to learn how to break through that. And so that's why I've learned how to do this. And after that, I started making a lot more money in my business very, very quickly, in multi-6 figures and on up. And that's what I love to teach all of you, how to do the same thing, because if you're gifted in expert, and that's who I typically tend to attract, really, really cool people at what they do, I want you to learn how to do this as well. So again, if you're just joining us, please say hi. And please say hi. And and I see, Irene, you don't have sound. I don't know why. You might need to fix something with your connection. It seems like everybody else can hear us. So maybe log off, log back on or something, or if you're on a phone, try your computer or something. But it does seem like the sound, maybe it's just something with your internet or something. So anyways, what I teach is based on whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you're a service professional, sales professional. All these things I teach all come into play because it's really about owning who you are deep down inside, and then as a result, you get everything what you want. So charging what you're worth does get thrown around a lot, and I've had these conversations with my clients about why don't people charge what they're worth, and feel free. Oh, good, Irene, you can hear now. Good. Feel free to share why you haven't done it. I'll share some of the more common reasons I hear, and thank you for the hearts, everybody. And if these resonate, please do hearts, likes, and please share this whole live stream with your friends as well, because this message is too important to not get out to as many people as possible. So why don't you charge what you're worth? Well, one big answer is people are going to get mad at me, right? And if you've said that, ever do a heart or a like, maybe you've got mind reading abilities, right? I've heard a lot of people say that. Even someone said that to me yesterday, like, I don't think she can afford it, or I don't think he can afford it, right? So you're all of a sudden now have ESP and mind reading skills tacked on to all your other expertise, so you don't think they can do it. You think somebody's not going to like you, right? So that's why you're not charging what you're worth. Another big one is you don't know how to do it. So is there anything else? Those are kind of the big reasons. Is there anything else that you want to add that you can think of why you haven't charged what you're worth so far? Those are typically the bigger reasons. So here's what happens when you don't charge what you're worth. Because again, I tend to help clients when they say, like, this is what I want to do, but I'm not. So this is what they usually tell me. And feel free to add your own stuff too. And again, if you've got any questions as I'm going along, please write them in, post them, and I will circle back around and answer. So Kim just wrote, yep, and in the beginning, absolutely, any business is good business, right? It's like, I just need clients. So I'll take anybody, and then sometimes you kind of want to go like, oh my God, I'm going to choke this person. So what happens when you don't charge what you're worth? And understand, this isn't just for newbies. I had a conversation with someone yesterday who's been in business, I don't know, 10, 15 years. She's still not doing it. And that's more common than not. And so it's so important that you're on this, that you're hearing this, because as I'm giving you these tips, these suggestions, these strategies, and you start to shift things, it's going to make a whole big difference in your whole entire business and your world as well. So what happens when people don't? These are just some of the symptoms I've seen. I'm looking at my notes. So I see people running in a million directions. And often by a million directions, it's taking a million types of action. You might be doing this thing, doing this thing, doing this thing, doing this and doing this thing all over the place. Often, have you ever seen entrepreneurs with like a million businesses? Raise your hands, do some hearts or likes. Yep, I'm seeing some likes there. Oh, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do this thing. And, I sit with the MLM people. They got 5 different MLMs they're doing, or doing this thing or doing that thing. Or, as an entrepreneur, maybe you're doing copywriting and you're also doing web design. You're also doing this thing and you're doing that thing. But they're not joined. They're all kind of just disjointed pieces. So when you don't charge what you're worth, you're doing that because it's like, well, I can make some money doing this, or I can make some money doing that, or I can make some money doing this. So you're doing all the bits and pieces to pull in some income. And another way it shows up is that you don't have a lack of focus. You're missing that. And so you're taking on way too much stuff. Because it's like you're just figure out, just try anything to help me make more money, and it's that whole bright, shiny object thing. Oh, now I'm going to try this thing, or now I'm going to try that. And meanwhile, you're kind of all over the place doing it. Symptoms that show up is that you're often discouraged, frustrated. Maybe you get angry like I shared. And I wasn't, I'll tell you, it took me a while. It took me a few years to actually admit I was really damn angry, because I was. And maybe some of you are willing to admit that you're angry. Maybe some of you are too polite and just say like, oh, I got mad. I was mad, and something like that, and that's okay. I finally got to the point I could own my anger, and that actually helped propel me to say, wait a minute, I need to hire mentorship. But it does, it brings out all the negative feelings and makes you feel bad about yourself. Next thing is maybe there's even some jealousy. And who's willing to admit they've ever felt jealous because they see other people? It's like, and I've taught classes. I've literally taught classes online, and the biggest complaint I hear is like from people saying, I know I'm better than that person, but yet they're charging so much more than me. I mean, have you ever said that to yourself? Any hearts or likes or whatever? I hear that all the time. Like I said, I speak all over North America, and that's a biggie, right? And then you get resentful. You're not sure if you're resentful or jealous of that other person because they've got a bigger business, they're making more money, yet deep inside like you're better, whatever that is. If you're a copywriter, you're better. If you're a practitioner, you're better. If you're a coach, you're better. Whatever the heck it is, but yet you see them out there making more than you. And of course, then, as a result, you're not making the money you desire, which means you got to play your life smaller. You're not able to maybe live in the home you want. Maybe you don't do for your kids what you want. Take the vacations you want, even go out to eat, how you shop at the grocery store, all sorts of things, because you're living a very, very small life. So again, charging what you're worth is more than just about adding a few zeros, but really upping your whole game. And for me, if you've been following me, I'm always talking about showing up in your brilliance. And that's what it is, whether it means you become more powerful, more confident, more excited, more enthusiastic. You just own your place. You own your place. So there are times that, even though I'm talking about charging what you're worth and what the importance is, there are times when you don't want to charge what you're worth. And I'll give you two examples of them. One is a woman who came to work with me, and she'd worked with another coach who said to her, this was a woman who'd been in her business, I don't know, 3-4 years at that time. And her previous coach had said she was doing VIP days. And I think she was charging something like, I don't know, $700-800 for an entire VIP day with her. And if you don't know what a VIP day is, if you've never experienced one, it's a really special day where it's you and you and that expert, that coach, or whoever that person is, one-on-one. The day is just about you, and like there's no one else, and you get to ask whatever you need and get all the help. So you walk out feeling like just on fire. Okay, it's something I do quite a bit of. And when her previous coach had saw that she was only charging whatever it was, $700 or $800, she said, "You're charging way too much money. You need to be charging $10,000 for a VIP day." That's what I do. That's what she was saying to her. So this woman said, okay, she raised her price to the $10,000, but she couldn't sell anything, and then felt even worse. So when she came to work with me, that was her biggest thing. She's like, how do I do this? I'm told I should be charging this, but how do I? And so what happened is that if you're currently at $700, and because I think she was right around there, and then all of a sudden you're going to go from 700 to 10,000, that's a really big leap. And some people can do it, but most people need to take intermediate steps so they become comfortable with each step as they go. Now, I'm not saying you have to take 10,000 steps. You don't have to take little tiny things. It might just be 2 or 3 leaps. It might be once going to 1,000, and then maybe 1,500, then 2,500, 5,000, then you hit the 10,000. Maybe you do it that way. But what happens for most people is that if you go from 700 to 10,000, there's too many blocks, too many fears, doubts, old stories, things that come up in the way, and it's going to stop you. It's going to make you uncomfortable. So when you go and talk to a prospective client and you're telling them, and let's say they're all into the VIP day, and you say it's 10,000, you're not going to say it's 10,000. You're going to go, you're going to either trip over your words, you're going to say them real fast, you're going to go, it's $10,000, and talk really fast or something, because you don't own your value. You're not comfortable with it. So that's one time when you don't want to do it, is that you don't want to make such a huge jump, because it's not going to be something you're aligned with. You need to take it in steps. So that's one time, for an example of that, even though she may have been worth 10,000, that I helped her do that in increments, and as a result, she was able to go to that higher level. Okay, so if anyone has any question, comments, whatever, please put them on Facebook, and I'll circle back around and answer them for you before we wrap up. This another example of when not to charge what you're worth is because even though as much as I love this topic, there's times you don't want to do it. So one example is I teach this at my event. So if you're coming to Conversations to Clients Live, you will hear me. I'll teach about the topic. I'll teach how to do it, why to do it, all that stuff. I have really detailed information about how you say it, all that kind of stuff. And anyways, it was somebody on my team, someone who I actually had hired. She wasn't really officially, she was on my team for the event. She wasn't a regular team member. And she heard me talk about it. So she did a really great job for me. And so we were immediately after the event, I said, well, I'd love to have you help me with next year's event. And she said, okay, I'll send you some, the proposal. And when I got it, her pricing was something like 2 times as much as what she previously charged. So I called her and I asked her about it. I said, hey, can you explain to me why it's twice as much? Same exact thing you're doing this year. Why is it twice as much? And she said, well, Kate, I'm charging what I'm worth. And I said, okay, but explain to me, like, why is it worth now twice as much? And she said, but Kate, I'm charging what I'm worth. And I said, okay, I hear you, but why are you now worth twice as much? And she couldn't answer the question. She couldn't answer the question. So in turn, I went and I hired somebody else who was probably more than twice as much as what she was paying, because this woman was able to explain and convey her value to me, which made me very, very comfortable in paying her that amount of money. This other woman couldn't do that. So what I want to share with you is that even though charging what you're worth is really important, to just go do it doesn't mean anything. Okay, good, I'm getting some likes. Because otherwise people, and hearts, good, otherwise people will not get it on the other end. And what actually happened is she ended up losing me as a client. So not only did she not charge more money, she didn't retain me. Okay, so it's understanding how do you say it, when do you say it, and knowing what's the message you want to get across. And thank you guys for the hearts. I appreciate that. So what you want to think about is, and for those of you just joining, I've actually got like 2 pages of notes. So this is, I take this stuff seriously, man. So anyways, if you do have any questions, please say hi. And please also feel free to share, to put your questions or your comments, do hearts, likes, etc. And I'll circle back around at the end and answer questions. So you want to think about what is your motto, okay? Because this has a lot to do with charging what you're worth. Because charging what you're worth, back to my point about what I just shared with you, it isn't about all of a sudden saying, okay, I'm charging twice as much. It's not going to work. I'm just telling you, it's not, you're going to fall flat on your face. You want to really get aligned with who you are and your value. So I wrote down 4 different mottos, and you want to think about what is your motto. So the first one is you under-promise and you under-deliver. Okay, now to me, some people might like that. Maybe you do that a little bit in the beginning. We've all run into people like that where they're like, oh, I'm not sure if I can really do it, and I really don't know how it'll come out, you know? So to me, that's kind of a wimpy motto. But for somebody who either doesn't have a lot of self-confidence in this area, or maybe it's not an area they should be doing, probably bigger picture, that's more of a wimpy type of motto. Second one is that they, oh, thank you for the heart. Second one is that they overpromise and they underdeliver. Okay, this is going to be amazing. You're going to absolutely love it. It's the best of the best. It's so you know. Well, to me, and I hope there's no used car salesman on this, and I'm saying with all due respect, because not every used car salesman is like this. That kind of reminds me of when I bought my, years and years and years ago, I bought this really cool car, happened to be used, and that was like exactly what the salesperson said, like, this is an amazing car, does this, does this, does this. I don't know, this was like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, right? But all these promises, well, the car ended up having something like 11 problems in, I don't know, 21 days, something really crazy like that. It finally ended up dying on the highway during rush hour traffic. Talk about near-death experience. But to me, that is when he definitely, he overpromised. This was an amazing car, and it underdelivered. Okay, so is that your motto or not? So that's the second choice. Maybe you prefer to underpromise and overdeliver. Now that to me is what I call the Staples motto. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. There's a Staples store I use, and I use it for all my bigger copier needs, the printing stuff. So like at the event, for example, there's going to be binders, there's this stuff, that's also some material people get for the learning, because it's a very, very transformational event where you're actually doing the work as we go through it. So I order quite a lot, to be honest with you. Like someone has to come and help me out to the car with all these boxes. And so what he told me when I first met him is that his motto was that he underpromised and he overdelivered. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, what I do is I tell people that if, let's say, you know, for a due date, that if I know we can comfortably get it done in 10 days, even though I know we could probably get it done in a week, I'll tell them it's 10 days. And then if I'm able to get it done earlier, I've over-delivered, right? And so that's how he does it. So he looks at it in his way that as a result, he's kind of over-delighting people because they're expecting it, for example, in 10 days, he calls them, emails them, whatever, and it's done sooner, maybe the price is better, so all those kinds of things. So that's how he does it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really happy dealing with him that way because he never lets me down. He never, ever lets me down. So that's under promise and over deliver. So maybe that's your motto. Now the last one is a little bit edgy, okay? I'm just warning you, it's not for the faint of heart. And this is to over promise and over deliver. So this is when you tell people like, it's effing amazing. This event is awesome. You have never been to another event like this. The transformations that take place are phenomenal. And the person attends the event, and those are the results they get, right? Or better, even better. So think about which of these, because I can stand there in that place. I'm confident enough in my results that I can stand in that place. So which of these aligns with you? Because if you want to charge what you're worth, do you prefer to underpromise and underdeliver? Do you prefer to overpromise and underdeliver? Do you prefer to underpromise and overdeliver? Or do you prefer to overpromise and overdeliver? There's no right or wrong. It's just being aligned with it, because you got to kind of pick which one. Doesn't mean you won't change 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, but you want to pick one of them because that's going to be help you become aligned with where your pricing is going to be. Okay? So that's really, really important to know. You want to pick one of those four. Now, what I want to do is just take a minute or two. I still have more on this page and more on the second page, but I want to take a minute or two and invite those of you who really want to dive deeper and go into a lot of specifics on this topic and more to join me at Conversations to Clients Live. And you can go to conversationstoclientslive.com. That's conversationstoclientslive.com, where you get all the detailed information, because I'm just giving you a really quick snapshot of it. So first of all, you need to know it is a transformational event. Yes, you will get a binder, but the idea is that you don't walk out with a binder full of tons of notes and then you sit there overwhelmed and stressed and don't know what to do with it. You actually make the transformation where you're at the event. What's important to know is that whether you came from a background like me, that you did sales before, and now it's learning how to sell your own product or service, or whether you're the person who just doesn't like sales, I've been able to help both types of people. So both become very, very comfortable, and not only comfortable, become confident, and then become successful in being able to sell the services and products. You know, whether it's your own or whether it's someone else's, it's learning how to do it in a way that feels really, really aligned and feels very authentic with you. Also, too, what you're going to learn at this event, I'm just looking at my notes, make sure I don't leave anything out, is you're going to learn the sales formula. And by that, what I mean is it's going to put you in control of your income. So if you know you need to make X amount of money, you're going to learn exactly what you need to do to make that kind of money. So no more scrimping and saving, puts you in the driver's seat so you can actually earn that income. And whether it's the vacation, whether it's something for the kids, whether it's a new resource for your business, whatever the heck it is, you can get that for your business. You're also, what you're going to get from me is I'm going to give you my script that I use. Now, when I give you my script, it's not to turn you into a mini me. It's more so you get an outline. And what I'm going to do is I want you to learn to have it make me very fluid, very authentic. So it's very conversational. So therefore, I'm going to teach you what you're saying, when you're saying it, and more importantly, why you're saying it. Because then you'll be able to have this conversation. It won't be like you just looking at, okay, now I say this, and then I say this, and then I say this, and then get flustered if they say something different. Because if you understand it, you own it, you're going to have a really, really good conversation with that person. Okay, and remember, it's all about the know, like, and trust that has people buy from you. Also, you're going to learn how to overcome objections, because let's face it, there's always going to be objections. There's going to be the money objection, and so you're going to look at the price of this event, and right off it's going to be, the money. I'm going to share with you how you can bypass that, okay, so it doesn't stop you. There's also going to be the time objection, right? The time, all sorts of things. So I'm going to teach you what to say, so that way you can help the person in making that a better decision instead of them hiding behind their objections. Now, one thing that's really, really important about this event is that it isn't your typical sales event, because I'm really getting into your mindset as well as your prospect's mindset. And what I mean by that is we're really doing a lot of work about your own fears, your doubts. And so what that means is that when a client has an objection about money, that unless you've worked through your own money story, you can't help them overcome that money objection. You're going to still get stuck in it. You're going to be like, yep, I know it's a lot of money, and you can't help them through it. The point is you want to be able to help them through it so you can be of service to that person. So we do that through a lot of mindset work, whether it's tapping, laws of attraction work, neuroscience, and a bunch of other, techniques and strategies I have, because you've got to be able to help them to the other side. If you haven't worked through it yourself, if you're like, yeah, I know what it's like, yeah, well, you're not helping them. You're not doing them any favors. So you've got to learn to overcome your own objections first before you can help them. So we do a lot of work around that. Also, you're going to become aligned with your own magic price point. So like that example, that client who came to me, that it was impossible for her to sell at that higher level because she didn't own it. You're going to learn to become aligned with what your magic price point is and own it, so your voice doesn't change, get squeaky, or high-pitched or go real fast. And you're going to be able to charge what you're worth without worry. So you're not doing trades, discounts, giving it away. So all that stuff is really, really important, because ultimately, if you're like me, you became an entrepreneur because you really love what you're doing. And maybe you want to make a difference in the world. Maybe you want to help more people make these changes or get the results you've had, whatever it is, you can't do it by playing it small. You can't, right? Then it just becomes like a wish. And then, that's no good. So I look at it, if I can impact you by what I teach, imagine how many more people you can change. Imagine what that'll look like for your bank account, for what you can do for your family, your personal life, community, your legacy, all those things. So again, it's conversationstoclientslive.com. It's a 2-day event in June. It takes place right outside of Boston. The dates are the 21st and 22nd. I do feed you both days. I mean, my mother brought me up. Like, if you invite people over, you got to feed them. Feed you really, really well. I just have to tell you that. I know that's not what, the main reason why you come, but I'm just telling you, I do feed you really well. The event location is beautiful. And what I do have for the live listeners is a special code to use. And so the code is YES17. And that's going to take a percentage off of your ticket, which will drop it even lower than it normally is, which is great. So that provides you with some more incentive, and that's YES, Y-E-S capital. I'm actually going to put it in here. So you can use that when you register, and that'll save you some additional money. So hopefully that will help you. And in terms of like, Kate, this isn't a good time, all I can tell you is I don't know when I'm offering this again. I'm an entrepreneur. Who knows? I may change my mind, do something different next year. I have no clue. All I can say is that it's up to you. If you really want to learn how to do this, if you want to be able to charge what you're worth, make a pile more money this year, you need to find a way to be there. And if you need my help, if you want to figure out if this is the right thing for you, if this is worth it, all that, I'm happy to jump on a phone call with you or answer an email. Email my team, info@katebeaters.com. That's info@katebeaters.com. Let them know what you need. And like I said, if it's a quick phone call, an answer to any question, whatever, I'm happy to do that for you. Okay, so again, that's conversationstoclientslive.com. And I do hope I see all of you there. The event is phenomenal. It is filling up. So if this thing interests you, please take action fast before we're full, because that's the intention, to fill up, sell out, sold out, and just have the right people in the room. Okay. Oh, thank you for the hearts. And I know some of you on this Facebook Live will be there, so I can't wait to see you. So what we've talked about so far, we still have another page of notes. We've talked about who should do it, what it means, why you want to do it, what happens when you don't do it, when you shouldn't do it, and what your motto should be. So we've covered a lot of stuff. So what I have left for you is, when it's time for you to do it. And so here's a couple of things to kind of check off. If they resonate with you, if you're kind of giving them the head nod or giving me hearts or loves on this, then you know it's time for you to learn how to do this. So one is, you're really great at what you do. You've got the training, the expertise, and you get results. So when you know that, like if you know you're a photographer and your photos are awesome, then you know it's time to do it. If you're a copywriter and your copy is working really well for your clients, it's time. So same with social media. A coach, whatever the heck you're doing, your results are really, really good and people are complimenting you about your results, it's time to be thinking about charging what you're worth. Second thing to do is that you're not replaceable. Okay, so this is something to think about and think about quite seriously, because if people view you as very replaceable, then it's going to be difficult for them to buy in to paying you more money for your services. Okay, so understand that. So that's something that woman I was telling you, that woman who I hired for my event, had a really hard time conveying. So unless people really understand why you are not replaceable, that when you raise your pricing, even if it's just a small amount, it's going to be difficult for them to get it and want to go ahead with it. Instead, they're going to think like, geez, now I'm paying that person more. So you've got to really be able to get across that you are not replaceable. The third one is that you're oversold. So what this means is, I do this with my clients all the time. When they tell me that whenever they have conversations with clients and people are easily saying yes, or they're telling me that their schedule is full, I'm like, you know what happens? Yes. And they give me that look and they're like, I know, Kate, time to raise my pricing. So absolutely. So when you know your schedule's full, it's easy for you to get people to say yes, it's time to raise your pricing. And the last thing is, which is really, really critical, you got to have the confidence, right? And I'm not talking about like beating your fist on your chest saying, "Oh, I'm so awesome." I'm not talking about from a place of ego, because that just turns people off. But when you can stand and say, like, I really know what I deliver, and I'm proud of what I deliver, and what I deliver is amazing, it's time for you to be charging more money. So those are the 4 criteria. All right, you're great at what you do, you're not replaceable, you're currently oversold, and you've got the confidence. And so the last piece of this is that you've got to decide what you want to charge, and then you got to ask for it. So you have to know two things. You have to know is you have to know your value. Okay, these are things we talk about at the event, so you get really, really clear on your value. There's no question. You know your value, you own it, and bam, it's laser. And why it's important for others. All right, you have to know those 2 things for you to successfully charge what you're worth. So who has any questions? We've done a lot of stuff, talked about a lot of things, a lot of really critical information. Like I said, I had 2 pages of notes here that I wanted to make sure I share. So who's got any ahas, any questions, comments, thoughts, whatever? I'll stay on for another couple of minutes if there is anything. And I'm just going to put the event, oops, that's on help. Put the event URL here for those of you who want to attend. Oops, I could spell my name, that would be great. Okay, so does anyone have any questions, thoughts? And thank you for the hearts. Questions, comments, thoughts, anything? Happy to answer anything for you before I take off for the rest of my day. Any questions at all about the event? I'll tell you one big question I always get is if you're traveling from out of state, we do have a room block. It is filling up fast, but we do have a room block right at the venue, as well as there's some other very nice hotels in the area. The location is beautiful. When you do register, you do get a special link to invite a friend at a very special price. So that's also going on. And also too, a question I get asked a lot is people always want to know the size. And I want to tell you, I've been there, done that with bigger events, and I'm happy to speak at events with like 1,000 or more people. I've done that and I love it. But when I host my own events, I tend to prefer a little bit smaller because I like to create a bit of an intimate setting where people feel very safe being able to ask their questions, do their shares, maybe personalize things, because obviously you're all in different industries. You have different backgrounds, different experiences. So I want everyone to know that they can ask their questions. So it is a very transformational event. So there's not going to be like 10,000 people. It'll be a smaller, intimate group. And that's what I really like, because then I know people walk out and say like, wow, now I know how to do this. Or okay, guess what, on break, I just did it. Whatever the heck it is, that's what I want for you, as opposed to walking out with a thick binder with notes and then, the head spinning around not knowing where to start. So are there any questions at all about charging what you're worth, about the event? June in Boston, if you're not from here, it's amazing. All sorts of things. Let's see. So Kim has a question. I find that I get inundated with requests to donate my services. What's a kind way to respond if I just cannot afford to be giving away my service to everyone who asks? So I've helped a couple of my clients with that, especially ones who do like to occasionally give things away. And what I suggest that they do is sometimes there are, and Kim, I don't know you, so I'm giving kind of a broad answer of what I've kind of helped people in the past. So hopefully it'll help you. And sometimes there might be something that's a cause that's near and dear to your heart. So maybe, for example, if there's a certain health issue that means a lot to you, or certain thing with animals or with kids, or breast cancer or something, it could be something like that. And what you can easily tell people is that, that you get a lot of requests, and just because of your time, you've had to narrow it down to the causes that are really near and dear to your heart. And, and there's only 2 of them, which are, and unfortunately theirs don't do it. If you like their cause, that what you can do is say, I'm happy to support you. And what I can do, if you like their cause, is do it at a special price for them. Maybe your normal price, I don't know what you do or anything, but maybe your normal price is $500. Maybe it's a cause you really like. Maybe you do it for half that price because that cause, you think is a good cause. But I definitely don't believe in just giving it away just because they ask, because goodness, your time is your most valuable, your most valuable asset. And I believe that if you are giving away your services to something, make it for something that really means something to you, and not because of something that just because you're being asked. Now, in the second part of that, she's a wine educator. Okay, so in the second part of that is that there's also, and this is what I dive in really, really deep into the event, there's a lot of fear of people won't like you. And I don't know if this applies to you again, Kim, I'm giving a broad answer, but especially women, especially entrepreneurs, we want everyone to like us. So it's fear that if we say no, then people are going to get mad at us and not like us. And so it makes you say yes, and then afterwards you're kind of kicking yourself. So if this is an area that you want some help in, I highly, highly encourage you, come to my event, because we're going to do lots of tapping around this, because this is a big, huge issue. And as a result, it's kind of like you're giving your power away when you say yes to everybody. And then it means less time for you, for your family, and for the people that really mean something. So thank you for the likes. Okay, so Irene wrote, Kate, please talk about the fear of your client rejecting you when you raise the price. So I'm assuming you mean, are you talking about before you do that or after? Irene, like the fear that pops up before, so you're thinking about beforehand or after it happens? If you're able to just answer that. Oh, and this is my lovely mug. Somebody was wondering, this is my mug from Costa Rica. I did my retreat a little over a year ago in Costa Rica, and last year I did in Cancun. So I like getting mugs where I go. Okay, so after, okay. So I understand this will happen sometime. So there's two parts I want to talk about. And again, Irene, I've known you on Facebook for years, and I highly say, please come to my event. I would love for you to be there. Okay, so let's talk about that. So after, so a couple things going on is that, of course, it's upsetting when someone says no, and they say like it's too expensive or it's not my budget, whatever. So one thing is you have to learn how to have that conversation so people are less likely to do it. Because again, if you just straight out say my new pricing is now whatever, it was 50, now it's 100, or now it's 150, or now it's 500, whatever. If you just straight out say it, most people are going to not want to do it. I'm just telling you quite honestly. So it's learning how you have that conversation. And that's what I dive in really deep into the event. So the thing I want to share with you is you have to know how to do it so they understand your value. Okay, kind of back to the points I was making earlier, that you're great at what you do, you're not replaceable, that you're oversold, and you've got the confidence. Okay, so knowing how to have that person understand why it's more money. The second piece is that sometimes people will say no, and it is what it is. Sometimes it's time to bless those people and let them go, right? Because sometimes you've got clients from the very beginning that you took on when you're brand new, and now they're still paying you like $10 and everyone else is paying you $1,000. So sometimes it's time to just bless them, give them to the universe, right? The other thing too is learning to deal with your own mindset. Again, we're going to do a lot of tapping around this to not make it stop you, because something that happens, this is really, really critical. And one thing I teach is what I call what happens in the freak out zone, is that people will say, even if you're really great at the whole sales conversation, people will occasionally say to you like, no, that's too much money. And so what happens is, if you don't understand that you're going through the freak out zone, that you will tend to go back and say to yourself in a snap second, see, I never should have done that. I should have left my pricing back where it was, because this person would have said yes to me. Now I'm stuck. I don't have a client, don't have the money. So when that happens to you, because it happens to all of us, and if you don't have the mindset in the right place, and you don't understand you're going through the freak out zone, you will put yourself back to whatever you were charging before and say, see, I never should have done it. I'm going back to my comfort zone. Where instead, I want to help you. This is where I do my work with my clients, is I help and encourage them to understand that it's part of the growth, that there will be people who say no, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. It doesn't mean you're doing a bad thing. And what you do is you say instead, like Jack Canfield says, you say next. They say no, you say next. And say, okay, so this person said no, but the next person I talk to, they'll say yes. Okay, so I gave you a big answer, right? So I'm getting lots of hearts. But understand, this is a big issue, right? It's a big, big issue. So for those of you, these are really great questions. Understand, I dive in really, really deep. And what I typically tend to do quite often when you ask me these questions is say, come on, let's do some tapping on this. So we're actually doing some tapping right on this issue. And you're making these mindset shifts right as we're talking. And that is so damn powerful. So powerful. Because I'm an amazing tapper. I'm just telling you that. So before I go, any last questions? And again, I hope you guys all come to the event. Use the code YES17 at conversationstoclientslive.com. Join me at the event. Honestly, the event is so powerful. And not only does it help you be better at sales conversations, it helps you own who you are, not just in the conversation, but everywhere. Being able to set boundaries, being able to ask for what you need and what you want and what you deserve, being able to go for so much more, right? I'm just telling you, honestly, amazing things change as a result of you attending. So any last questions? Please share this. Please share this training. It was a really, really valuable training. Please share this with your community. Let others learn from it. It's very important, very powerful. And I'm just going to put that link again. Oops. Oops, I could do it for my event. Do that. Oops. Yep, the event is Conversations to Clients Live, and the coupon you want to use to save some money as a gift from me to you, because you are here on this, is to use YES17. I typed it out, so it's all capitals, YES17, and you'll save money off the ticket. So again, any questions, if you're not sure if it's the right thing for you or anything at all, email my team, info@katebeaters.com. That's info@katebeaters.com. If there's a question that I can answer in the email, I'm happy to answer it for you, or my team can answer it. If you want to get on the phone with me for a couple of minutes and work through, is it the right thing for you? Let's do that. I'm telling you honestly, it's going to be like the best 2 days, and it's going to be one of the best investments you can make in your business and in yourself. Actually, more important is in yourself. Just be totally honest with you. You're more investing in yourself. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. Please share this. Thank you for all the lights, the hearts, the love, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate it. And until we meet again, be brilliant. Bye.